So in Java, exception handling is through try, except, try and catch block,
Okay.
and throw is for raising an exception. Throws is that if we have to mention that this piece of code might throw this exception, right? All of that.
Correct. Correct.
It's relatively similar over here also. Try is there, catch is not there. Instead of catch, we have a keyword called except. Now
Okay.
what we would do is, first, there, like in Java, here also we have errors and exceptions. So what you are seeing over here in this piece of code is a syntax error. Now if you have a good editor, right, that can understand your Python code without even executing it, like I have Visual Studio Code. So if you see this script one, I this line of code, while true print hello world, I copied it in my Visual Studio Code editor, and it learned that there are errors. It says that three errors here. Expected a colon, expected expression, and statements must be separated by new line and semicolon. So this is interesting that
Mhm.
we were that it has Visual Studio Code has been able to identify three errors in it, while over here it's only mentioned that invalid syntax. So if you're using good editor, that can help you remove syntax errors beforehand. Now exceptions are like division by zero, which is similar to in every programming language. And then there is name error, such as if you go to the console Python, and let's say we know that in Python there is a module called RE, which is for regular expressions. Okay, so
Okay.
if we try to call it before importing it, it will give you a name error. And if we do import RE and then do RE, then it will print that this is a module. So that is also uh, that is name error. And one second. And then there is this can't convert int object to str implicitly, because when we want to convert an int object to str, we have to wrap it with that str function, inbuilt function for type conversion. Now, the way to handle exception, if you're coming from Java background, and how much experience do you have?
I have 15.
Okay, so Python is relatively easier to read than Java. You might be seeing that. So while true try, please enter number, break, accept value error, then it says invalid number. So what it essentially is doing is that if you give it some like it over here, it says keyboard interrupt.
Okay.
So ask for user input until a valid, so it asks for user input until a valid integer has been entered. So the moment you enter a string, that cannot be converted to int, it will raise a value error, because int is being called on this input. So if you enter like abc, it will throw an error, exception, value error,
So
that will,
okay. So this input will get input from the user, right? So in
yeah,
your console, you will see please enter a number, and then the user will enter any
yes,
number. It
yes,
will try to
yes,
convert it into integer.
we'd run it for you. One second. Script 6.py, we'd see it running before ourselves. Okay, and then okay, and then we go to the console, exit ls python script 6. Enter a number. Now I'd enter number 5. I think break is here. We would have to remove the break. And
Okay, so
we
you
again
need
run it. Yeah,
print the
5,
number.
6, 7, and then I don't know further. That was no valid number. Please try again. You getting it? So
Yeah, I'm getting it.
break was there, so it stopped after first integer. Otherwise, it would have gone into a while loop forever.
Yes, yes, yes.
Now, if we come back to our presentation, so this is how a try statement works. First, the try clause, the statements between try and except keywords is executed. Now, if no exception occurs, the except clause is skipped and execution of try clause is finished. If an exception occurs during the execution of try clause, the rest of the clause is skipped. And then if its type matches the exception named after the except keyword, the except clause is executed. Then execution continues after the try statement. If an exception occurs which does not match exception named in the except clause, it is passed on to outer try statements. If no handler is found, it is an unhandled exception and execution stops with the message shown above. Now,
Okay. So the value error is a predefined class, is it?
yeah, yes, it's predefined. You don't need to. It comes like by default in core Python package. When you install this Python, it comes along with it. Now we have some piece of code that we took from this link, docs.python. I'd open it for you.
Okay.
Errors and exception. Most of our material is taken from here. So,
Okay.
but there are some changes in it that we have brought in. Like over here, if we refer this piece of code, then what happens is that we have to predict the output. Now, the way it happens is that we have a class B that is inheriting from exception class, and we have a class C that is inheriting class B. Class D is inheriting class C. Now, when we do for class in BCD, and we raise CLS, so because these are all children of exception class, we can raise them. We can raise an exception for this class. Now, what happens when we do try CLS? We have written except D. Now, because B, we first called B, but D is a subclass of D, and if we are raising B, then it won't call this one. It will go here because D is a subclass of B, and B won't recognize it. B would recognize its parents, right? As you're seeing over here, B would recognize the parents and not the children. Now,
Right, right.
now over here, if we do the same thing and we reverse the order of accept, like earlier it was DCB. Now, if we do it BCD, then because C and D are basically children of what do we B, yeah, and exception basically. BCD is the hierarchy. Now all of them are caught here only by the parent, by their grandparent or parent. Now handling a runtime exception. Now this is do you have any experience of writing any experience of writing code yourself? Python, in Python?
No, I haven't. No.
Okay, then what we'll do
But
is
this concept looks similar in Java. So
yes, yes,
in Java also, like, parent gets the precedence first, then its child.
yeah, that's correct. Now what we are going to see over here is I just open the docs also. and see if there are any further concepts. I tried to prepare it on before now. Now, divide by zero error is when now this piece of code has been taken from here only, errors and exceptions. This we have covered, handling exception, this we have covered, this we have covered, this we didn't, but this is the piece of code that we are referring to over here now. We over here it says x equals to 1 divided by 0, and then we have a try block. Try blocks in the try block we say is this, we call this function this fails, and we are also adding an except block with 0 division error as error, and then we are trying to print it now. Folks, please mute yourselves. Okay, thank you. Now we have this piece of code in our script 4. Now script 4 is here. Okay, now when we execute this, we get the output as intended, that handling runtime error. Right, division by 0. Now we try to modify it a little bit. We, instead of throwing now division by 0, do we have to always catch exceptions like that, or we can preemptively do a check also? Like over here in the script 5, we preemptively did a check, like if we are passed some input a and b, we check if b is 0, because we know that what we are going to return is a divided by b. Now if b is equal to 0, we raise an exception. And then we are calling this division method in a try block. Now when we are calling this method in a try block, it prints success when for the first statement. Then it tries to do the division for the second time, and it fails, because second number we are giving it 5 and 5, then we're giving it 5 and 0. Now if we try to run this one, script 5, like expected, 5 divided by 5 is 1, 5 divided by 0 should give you an exception, but over here it didn't give it division by 0 exception. It simply raised exception, which is the super class of which is like a super class, and that was raised over here. Now we modify it a little bit and raise the 0 division error only. Let me see what we have in script 6. 1 second. Script 6. If people would like to take part in coding, and we can do a hands-on also. So I'd create a script 7 here. Script 7.py. And instead of exception, we'd give it 0 division error. Raise 0 division error, that will be caught. That will be caught by the base class itself. Script 7, like cleaner output, because we have handled the exception. Now, okay, so I would have to tell you that because of shortage of time, I have like I didn't prepare too much of content, but we can do a hands-on now. Like we simply, so how I would like to know how many of you, we have 6 participants here. Can all of you write code like defining a function as we are seeing on the screen? Shall we do a hands-on session? Try to build a calculator. If people agree, then we can go ahead and so unmute yourselves and let me know what you think more. Chat. Sure, Farid. Okay, then folks, then let's everyone start developing a calculator with writing basic code for adding, subtracting, multiplication, and division, 4 operations, or maybe not 4, maybe just do multiplication and division, and then we would find out if in that we will explore how exception handling is done. So open your editors and start writing code. If anybody is stuck anywhere and not able to figure out how to start, then please share your screen. I'd we'd help you. I'd help you. And you can unmute yourself if you want to say anything, or
So Ashish, I can try it. I have no experience in Python, but I can try it.
okay, yeah, sure. Sure, Guru, you can try it. Share your screen if you need any help.
Sure.
I'd give you 3 minutes, and after 3 minutes, we'll start reviewing the code. Like, 2 minutes left. One minute left. Okay, now Farid, Guru, Varnika, we can start looking at your code. Would anyone like to go first? Farid, shall we start with you? You would have to unmute yourself and let me know.
Yeah, but I did not write the code. I just simply did. Yeah, hi. Sorry. So I have my code, but
Okay.
I was just like.
Okay,
So
no worries. Guru, would you like to share your screen? Would you like to show your code?
Yeah, just a minute.
Okay. There isn't too much even in the docs also. One thing I need to mention is the finally clause. Like it says over here in the documentation itself that finally, if you have a finally block in your code, it will execute irrespective of what happens in the try block. like over here. Yeah, hi Guru. Are you
Ashish,
done?
can I share?
Yeah, I'd stop sharing. Now you can share your screen.
I think it is coming as disabled.
Disabled, 1 second. Security. Start. Allow participants to start video. It is share screen. Yeah. Can you try now?
Sure. Yeah. Okay, so this is a sample one I've written.
Okay. Def add addition return a plus p if p equals to 0. So this is good. I'd request some access, like request for access to your code. First, save it. Save this file.
Okay.
Save as .py file, and then make a copy of it for me to look at. Calculator 1 maybe. Yeah. And then go to the desktop and create calculator 2 by copying this file.
You want to create another one?
Yeah, just copy this file and rename that to calculator 2. Okay, let me take control. 1 second. View options, request for control. Request. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I am somehow not able to minimize it.